Hello, hello, hello. That's right. We are in flight, as I'm liking to say. And this is number 202 of Oscar Mike Radio with a Marine veteran, a lieutenant colonel. I'm not sure if I've talked to an officer of that high of rank before on Oscar Mike Radio, but I'm pleased to be joined by Marine Cobra pilot, Marine Corps retired John Currie. Welcome to Oscar Mike Radio.
Hey, thanks a lot, Travis, and congratulations on 202 episodes. Fantastic.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. We got connected through the Veterans Business Facebook group.
Yeah.
James, hooked us up and said, come on down. And I'm sitting there and there's this guy talking about salad dressing and how he got his business going with salad dressing. And this is one of the amazing things about getting able to do this is meeting people like yourself who've served, got out and either started their business while they were in or got out and started their own business and are crushing it with a great product. Yeah. So I'm just curious if on my green screen, you have a company called, may I say, Semper Savage.
It is called Semper Savage. Yeah. It's funny. We went through a lot of iterations of the name, and the name Semper, of course, I was a active duty Marine and retired from the Marine Corps. It's a huge part of my life. Even worked in the Marine Corps as a graybeard at headquarters Marine Corps after retirement. I almost said graduation after retirement, but and so Marine Corps has been what I did the vast majority of my life. But so Semper was kind of having something uniquely that kind of nodded to the Marine Corps was important to me. And then Savage, believe it or not, it's really not because of the word savage and kind of what it means on its face. Savage was the call sign that my squadron used when we were in Afghanistan. That was our ATO assigned call sign, and I usually went out as Savage. I think it was Savage 6'5" or Savage 6'3", and that was our call sign, and that was a super important deployment for me for a lot of reasons, and so I wanted to somehow have it in the company. So there you have it, Semper Savage.
Now, what did you do specifically in the Marine Corps, John?
Yeah, when I was active duty in the Marine Corps, I was an AH-1 whiskey pilot, a Cobra pilot, and I did that. I stayed active flying until I was a senior major, around 2006 or so, and then I got an opportunity. It was one of those things where when I was coming up for orders, the monitor, which is the guy who assigns your next mission, I was ready to go back to the fleet and go back to the deploying, and he kind of said, hey, you have got a tremendous amount of deployed time. Maybe you need to take a break somewhere else. Discussed it with the family, and we ended up at Pax River, Maryland, at NAS Pax River, which is where all the developmental testing, the program officers, and all the acquisition for aviation happens in the Navy and the Marine Corps. And I ended up spending the rest of my career in that, what would you call it, that skill set. And I loved it. I couldn't believe I was sitting behind a desk, and I really enjoyed it. And it did spin into a nice post-Marine Corps career, which I've continued to leverage. So anyway, that's what I did in Marine Corps. Yeah, I started off as a Cobra pilot, worked my way up to being what's called a weapons of tactics instructor, held the maximum quals I could and had a great time, did quite a few deployments. And then I ended up stateside, flying a desk, but it was really good and really educational and actually a lot of fun.
Awesome. In Hawk, helicopters pose some very unique challenges with radar tracking and target engagement versus aircraft. People don't think that, but if you're not careful, a helicopter can sneak right up on you.
Yeah, that's true. And it depends on obviously the skill of the operator of the anti-aircraft system, right? I mean, that's huge.
It comes down to that.
Yeah, it really does. And coupled with the skill of the pilots and the flight, how good are they together, and how knowledgeable are they of the system that they're up against? Such a huge piece, right? You get an indication in the cockpit that you're up against a particular system. You've only got a few ways to react, but if you don't do it properly, you can end up toast. And thankfully, we would usually have a general idea about what the threat was and would have a good idea what profiles we needed to be in. So I was super thankful that I honestly didn't lose a whole lot of friends, certainly not to anti-aircraft. Did lose a few, but it was honestly mostly storms and stuff.
That platform to me, because we learned about all this stuff, and I've always been interested in aviation. Like we're talking about, the Apache gets a lot of the glory, if you will, but I still maintain if you understand how the systems are deployed and how they're used, the Cobra is still pound for pound, weight for weight, an extremely effective system for what it does.
It is, and we've got a new model out there now, the AH-1 Zulu, which also has its sister aircraft, the AH-1 Yankee, which are out there. And I had a great time helping to get those airplanes into the fleet, and then finally getting the fleet transitioned. I was able to do that over my career, and had a large hand in it. Very rewarding. But you're absolutely right. I think it comes down to how the aircraft are employed. And yeah, the Apache gets a lot of love. You just gotta, as Cobra guy, you just gotta understand that the Army's a lot bigger, and the Apache is going to be seen a lot more, and it's an extremely capable aircraft. I've gotten to work with pilots of all ilk in the Army, and post-career, I'm now working with State Department, and I fly with a lot of Army guys as well. Man, wonderful aviators, just always doing a great job, really, really knowledgeable. So I don't take any offense when the 64 gets more love than the.
All right. So I have to go back here a little bit. You're in the Marine Corps, and you're active duty. You're not just like me, a terminal lance corporal. You're actually got some serious weight on your collar. Yeah. And you get this idea that, hey, I'm going to make these salad dressings.
Yeah.
What kind of got you pushed to get it going?
Yes, it was almost a lifelong quest. And so
really?
It started off as a personal quest. I worked in an Italian restaurant when I was a teenager. And around that time, I had always enjoyed eating salad since probably about middle school, but I got introduced to just making really good food at this Italian restaurant that I worked at, with really great ingredients, with old homemade recipes, and there was a couple of other restaurants in the area that had a wonderful salad dressing, but you couldn't find anything like it in stores. And so I was continually disappointed when I would try to pull something off the shelf and pour it on my salad back at the house. And it was never was it anywhere near what I knew was achievable in a good Italian restaurant. And so I set out to replicate it, but I had no culinary background. I didn't know, not to speak of. I mean, yeah, I knew how to make pizza and pasta and stuff like that, but I didn't really know how to make salad dressing. So I just started experimenting, and over the years, I experimented my way into a formula, a recipe that worked. So it was pure experimentation over a long period of time. And it wasn't until probably somewhere around 2009 or so that I kind of hit it. And then from there, it was sort of a eureka moment where, okay, I've got a perfected recipe. And then I know what I got, right? I know what goes into this flavor. And as you begin manipulating things from there, which my wife, Stacy, is, wow, she has taken off. We have got 5 or 6 different versions. I won't say versions of this salad dressing, 5 or 6 different flavors, different types of salad dressing and marinade that she's continually experimenting with. Right now, we've only launched the 2 about, I guess it's about 10 months ago now, back in November of 2019. We launched those 2. There's 2 more that'll be coming up. We hope we hope early 2021 is really when we would like to do that. We'll see how it goes. But then behind that, we've got more, all based on me initially learning how to make salad dressing in general. And then my wife, Stacy, just totally modifying and changing and, experimenting herself in the kitchen.
So, it's interesting, thinking about salad dressing, which is not something I do a whole lot. I'm more of I'm an omnivore for sure, John, but I am definitely love my meat. So greens are something I don't really think about a whole lot.
Yeah.
But it reminded me when I, got up here to this part of the country and met some real Italian women cooks, and their great grandmothers down to the 20-year-old ladies would never consider going to the grocery store to buy salad dressing. That was, you might as well just go home. Don't even bother showing up. So I tried out. You were generous to send me the balsamic and the centurion, and I tried the balsamic, and I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
Because the grocery store stuff, I don't know how to describe this. Maybe you know better than I do, but it tastes different. And the Italian woman told me that's because of all the extra preservatives they throw in these things.
Yeah, there's a lot of things they do to make it shelf stable, but so we're trying to change the way people think about salad dressing and marinade. Really, to your point, Travis, about, there's certain people who they value good food, and there is no way they wouldn't be caught dead going into a grocery store or something to buy salad dressing or marinade or, tomato sauce or whatever the case may be. We've done the work for people, and what we did was we took a homemade salad dressing and marinade recipe that anybody would be proud to make. We stuck it in a bottle for you and made it available for people to use. Now, so my wife always makes the point when she's on podcasts and video and stuff that, hey, we use these products on a daily basis in our home for our family, and she still makes it in a mason jar. And it is the exact same thing that we've put into a 12-ounce bottle with our Semper Savage.
The balsamic had like 5 ingredients.
Very simple. So that's a key. So I mentioned I'd worked at an Italian restaurant when I was in high school, and I learned there, very generally speaking, what made great food. And what makes great food, generally speaking, is a good recipe. Well, my boss, the guy who owned the company, Bob Barber, had a little torn up notebook that was his grandmother's recipe book, handwritten in Italian. And so a great recipe. And then we would make our own dough from scratch. We sat back there with this giant mixer and, did the recipe and made our own pizza dough. We'd get in these big old wheels of cheese, and we shredded them. We didn't get in bags of cheese, that were already shredded. And so I observed that, and I learned that a great recipe coupled with great ingredients, and then just putting it together right, just correctly putting it together, which ain't that hard, that results in great food. And we just did the same thing with Semper Savage. We just said, hey, look, this is what we make for our family. This is what our family and our friends enjoy. And we made a lot of salad dressing for friends and family. Hey, come over to the party, bring some of that salad dressing. We got a lot of that. But we just kept doing the same thing that we were doing at our house, and we put it in a bottle,
So what happened that made this just for lack of a better term, involved hobby to, what, I've got my product. I feel proud of what I've got. I'm going to try selling it, because when you make that switch, everything changes.
It does. And so, and there's a little bit of luck involved. So knew I had a great product, had done a little bit of research into how to bottle something, and I was like, man, I am out. out. This is going to cost me, $100,000, and I'm going to have to jump through my rear end for months on end just to get the paperwork through the Department of Agriculture and all this stuff. Well, so two stories that work together that happened fairly close together. And one of them is I worked with a guy at the Pentagon. This is after I retired. I was working with a guy at the Pentagon at headquarters Marine Corps Aviation, and his name's Mac Talbert. He walks in one day, and I had been working with this guy for like 2 years, but I had no idea that he had a barbecue sauce business called Smoke and Shine. And he walked in one day, and somehow the conversation went to his company, and he starts cracking off about all the success he's having with his company. And I'm like, hey, we need to talk. I've got this salad dressing. He's like, oh yeah, I can help you. And so we just had lunch, and that's how it started. And he was able to mentor me, just kind of over lunch. And then eventually us, Stacy and me, through getting a product into a bottle so that it wasn't going to completely break the bank. All I did was kind of followed his coattails, right? Just replicated what he had done. So that's one story. And that was a huge piece of it, was getting that mentorship. The second piece, which was more to the motivation side, our oldest daughter was away at college. She loved the salad dressing, and she would always ask, we would bring a jar up. Stacy, my wife, her mom would bring a jar up to school, drop it off, and the next week she would pick up an empty jar and drop off a full jar. And that's how that's how she kept salad dressing for a while. Well, one Christmas, she created this gift, and she got me a case of mason jars. In fact, yeah, I got one sitting right here. Let me see if I can let you see it.
Oh my God.
Yeah. She gave me a case. I wish we had video, but she gave me a case of these mason jars with this label you can see, which has got kind of a crazy, silly pose on it with me in some like Roman armor or something. And it just says John Currie's world famous salad dressing on it. So I open this thing up, and there's a letter, a note or a card that says, please fill these up with salad dressing. And so it was it was fun, right? It was just a fun gift. But for whatever reason, it really inspired me. Just looking at a label, with a jar with, a label on it, I was like, man. And so Stacy and I started talking about it, and it just kind of got us thinking, well, maybe we should do this. And then we made the commitment to do it. And you're right, everything changes, because all of a sudden you're trying to get your product that you've created and that you love, and you're trying to put it into a bottle through a machine mechanism at a bottler, and you're trying to get it come out the other side tasting and feeling and being the exact same thing, in order so that your friends and family are like, yeah, man, this is the same stuff you used to mix up in the kitchen. But we want to make it available to everybody. And so, yeah, everything changes, because now you're working to get that product through a production system, that's FDA approved and all that kind of business, and out the door. And there's a lot involved in that. There's, some considerable expense involved in that. Well, now what do? I've got 2 pallets of salad dressing, sitting in my garage or in the warehouse or whatever the case may be. What do I do with it now? Well, I need to sell it, or I need to get the word out. In our case, I gave away most of our first run to friends and family. I just gave it away to friends, gave it away to family, said, hey, tell people about this. And then we decided on an online model, sort of following in the footsteps of some of the veteran-owned companies out there, like Black Rifle Coffee, that are making a premium product, and they're not offering it in stores. They're offering it online. I can talk a little bit about why we decide to offer it online. So you were talking about the balsamic tasting different, our balsamic, Savage balsamic, tasting different than anything you had in stores, and that, you weren't sure why. Well, there's a few reasons. And like I said earlier, we're trying to get folks to think differently about their food, particularly salad dressing and marinade. So grocery industry, salad dressing, marinade, and a lot of other things have become extremely commoditized, if not completely commoditized. And everything is sold based off of price. So people are, and I say people, I mean companies. Companies are competing for shelf space. They're competing for margin, and there's a constant, almost a race to the bottom when it comes to quality. So one of the better examples of a product that started off really high quality but has fallen victim to this is the Paul Newman salad dressings. When that product first came out, when their olive oil and vinegar salad dressing first came out, it was pure extra virgin olive oil, had very much like our product, had very simple ingredients. You could pronounce all the ingredients and everything. Well, over the years, they've had to move to an oil blend and made some pretty substantial changes to the recipe because of the price of olive oil going up and needing to still stay at a cheap price point of, I think theirs sells for $5 or $6, which is one of the more expensive ones. But every time you make those changes, you have to make a change somewhere else to make up for the lack of ingredients. So whether it's adding xanthan gum because you put water in, whether it's going to a ground spice instead of a chopped spice because you need it to go further. Those are all compromises that have been continually made in the grocery industry. And as we were looking at our production costs, heck, our production costs, it costs me as much to make a bottle of salad dressing as it does most people their retail price, right? In fact, many of the retail prices are lower than my production costs, than Semper Savage's production costs. So we quickly realized we weren't going to roll into stores and all of a sudden take stores by storm and, be hitting this awesome price point. Oh yeah, hey, it's $3. It's extra virgin olive oil and all pure ingredients, but hey, it's only $3 a bottle. Never going to happen. Never going to happen. We decided to stick with our pure ingredients, stick with our all natural ingredients, stick with homemade salad dressing, homemade marinade in a bottle. And we're just going to take ourselves out of that race. We just decided we're not going to go for grocery stores. We'll do a few premium stores, which we've done a couple of premium stores, but mostly it's an online product. You want it? You want the best salad dressing and marinade there is on the planet? Go to sempersavage.com and get some.
So right away, you refuse to compromise profits for quality.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I just because it wouldn't have been our product anymore. Had we decided that we wanted to get to a price point that was competitive, on the grocery store shelves, we would have not had the same product that we had now. And we believed in the product enough, and we believed in the response that we had gotten from numerous friends and family enough that we decided to take a chance on doing an online model and just trying to get it out there that way.
So one of the things I've noticed on your website, on your Facebook page, and your social media, and during our conversation is the word "we."
Yeah.
So you have been very clear that you and your wife Stacy have done this, and I just want to get some perspective into how important that partnership is. You're married to her, right?
Yeah,
for a lot of years,
yeah.
Right? And there's challenges there, but then you have a business partner you're also married to and going through all that. How important is that synergy, that relationship as a husband, wife, family, and now growing a business?
Yeah, it's huge. First of all, if it was not for Stacy, probably never would have pursued this because she was very encouraging about the idea. So just right off, the family was super, super supportive, but she was super supportive and not really in a pushy way. She wasn't saying, "Oh, let's do it." She was just like, "Hey, I think we could really do this." And so from that perspective, it was super important. But man, subsequently, as we got into creating more products to grow the company, as we move forward, And as we got into deciding how we were going to market the product, how we were going to connect with people. So she's a teacher and she's a mom. Completely different perspective on life than me. Somebody who grew up in, a skid squadron, acting like a 3-year-old, and stacking people in the middle of the hangar bay or something. Just kind of just a completely different approach to life. And she has really unbelievably creative in the kitchen. I came up really with one salad dressing. She has come up with everything subsequent to that, just experimenting and kind of taking and using the original recipe as a base, and has created some stuff you would not believe. I mean, just makes my mouth water just sitting here talking about it.
Making me hungry, John.
Oh my God. Last night I had a Caesar, yesterday for lunch, I had a Caesar salad with our salad dressing. Unbelievable. Absolutely the best thing I've ever put in my mouth. She's got a blue cheese. We had chicken. We're having chicken.
Wait, stop.
Yeah.
Did you just say blue cheese?
I said blue cheese. I'm here to tell you.
Oh my God, John.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm here to tell you, dude.
I love blue cheese. I gotta get on that.
We'll send you. We'll have to figure it out to make sure that it gets there without getting spoiled or something. But I would love to get you a bottle of it. Yeah. But with the cheese in it, you got to be careful, right? With making sure that it doesn't spoil in process, because we don't do any hot packing or anything here at the house.
Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah, I'd love to get some to you.
Well, one of the things that so she is an integral part of this and really kind of completes the process. And yeah. I didn't want to overshadow that at all. It seemed like there was a united front with you two and a strategy to do this.
Very much so. And it's been a bit of a synthesis. Like I said, very different approaches to life, very different things that we like to do. She really, really has brought some things to the company with regard to family, with regard to, hey, I'm a busy mom. Here's how I use these things. Here's a ton of recipes. We've got a whole page on our website it's called Keep It Simple Stacy. It's Stacy's personal simple recipes that she uses as a busy mom. So I can't state enough how important that relationship is.
And John, everybody, I will have the links to Semper Savage in their Facebook and social media and the Oscar Mike Radio show post.
Yeah.
So do what I did, click and find out more. It's really, really cool. I used, and one of the things that you had encouraged me to do, and I did it with the Italian. I didn't try them yet, but I used it as marinade.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm very interested in that. But you told me that I could take the balsamic and use it for a marinade too.
Oh, dude, it is freaking incredible. So here's what happens.
Okay.
We have had this. Stacy has prepared virtually everything you can think of with balsamic as a marinade. And they both.
No. I would never, ever think, sir, respectfully, to use balsamic salad dressing for marinade, ever.
It is. I'm telling you, I had a steak the first night I just got home from Iraq. And the first night I was home, Stacy made a steak, a ribeye, marinated in balsamic. The extra virgin olive oil kind of protects it. It allows for a really good, scald on the outside, but it kind of protects it and adds great flavor. The balsamic, it kind of caramelizes and makes a great glaze. It is probably the best marinade I have ever had on steak, pork, chicken, veggies.
I'm doing some pork right now with the Italian, so I'm going to try with my other bottle of balsamic.
Yeah,
I'm going to try this on my favorite beef.
Well,
Let's
here's
see
the
how.
thing too, Travis, as you're using it, whether it's on a salad or on the grill, it, because it's pure ingredients, because there's no water, because there's no added, chemical magic and all that kind of stuff, it actually goes further. You don't have to use as much of it. So you can pour a relatively small amount of that stuff on a salad, on a piece of meat, get it all nice and worked into there, and it has the effect of using considerably more of another product because it's not diluted. There's no,
Oh, okay.
there's no water and stuff added to it. It's just pure ingredients.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm going to try the balsamic next. So you're doing this and COVID-19 hits.
Yeah.
I have to ask, what have been some of the challenges you faced starting a business, growing a business during this time? Because a lot of people like yourself who are trying to do this are like, oh my God, I just launched at the absolute worst time in human history.
Right. Yeah. So for us in particular, we were already trying to tweak and make some changes, because, like I said, we just launched in November of 2019, so it was only just a few months later when COVID hit, and we were just like, our approach to it was, well, here's our opportunity. Here's our opportunity to make all the changes we wanted to make, and while things are kind of crazy and things are slowed down, and so let's see, I guess it was in April, maybe late March, we started with, we changed our website completely changed our website. We changed, the way we're doing our marketing. We changed the way we're engaging the public. We made a tremendous, vast, sweeping changes to the way we do business, and it hasn't quite yielded yet because we're only a couple months through. But we are hoping that that COVID will go away and that things will begin to get back to normal, which that's a whole nother conversation. They're not really ever going to get back to normal because there's a lot of businesses that are just gone. But thankfully, we've been able to hang in there. One, because we didn't quit our day jobs and try to, ride a burgeoning business for a living. And so we're just kind of pressing on, waiting for things to normalize. While things are crazy and the economy is not normal, we're just building and experimenting and connecting with as many people as we can. Go ahead and building the brand as much as we can, and we'll hope for sales, to follow.
So being in the Marine Corps and retiring from the Marine Corps, and as Lieutenant Colonel, I'm always interested to find out what experience from being in that senior leadership position, from the junior officer up to what a lieutenant colonel, how has that benefited you dealing with these challenges and being literally Semper Gumby?
Yeah. So honestly, I think the most important single lesson I learned as lieutenant, and I have been struggling to fully implement the rest of my life. And that is the realization. I always just say, you got to realize you're an idiot. And the sooner I realized that I was an idiot, that I had so much to learn, that I was, not the expert, that there was always somebody that was going to be better at whatever it is than me, and that I needed to engage them and learn, that I needed to listen to them. And then as I became an instructor pilot, particularly as I'm sure you can relate, there are certain positions within any unit that are almost untouchable, that nobody really questions. I mean, even the CO, if as a captain, I held tremendous sway with the CO just based on the expertise that I had. Well, it would be real easy to kind of take the wrong lesson from that, to think that, I am something, or that I've got some special gene that, that put me into this position. But as I had a really smart group of young lieutenants come into the squadron, I had to study just to go teach them, because these guys were so talented and would ask questions where I'm just like, dude, are you freaking kidding me? I'm like, you know what? I don't know. Let's go look at the book, see what it says. I learned more from them than they learned from me. I learned more from my students as an instructor than they did from me. That process, understanding that you've got so much to learn, realizing along the way that you do not have all the answers and that you still have a lot to learn. I think that's been the key thing that I learned in the Marine Corps, that has stuck with me. And I fail at it continually. I fail at it every day, but trying to strive to understand that I have so much more to learn, and that everybody I meet has a tremendous amount to teach me in one way or another. That's it. That's the biggest lesson.
Well, it's certainly one that, and I agree with you, in my situation, getting out and having to kind of retool and rebuild myself is, I didn't have all the answers.
Yeah.
And there's no shame in saying, I don't know.
Absolutely.
So your daughter kind of helped kickstart this whole thing. Is your daughter, and I don't know if you have other children, are they involved with this now? Is this a family thing, or is it a mom and dad thing?
It's more of a mom and dad thing. They're certainly aware of it, and they're supportive. But on a day-to-day operational basis, no. Our oldest daughter, who I was referring to with the story, she's a teacher, she's a teacher like a mom. She loves it. I don't see her ever doing anything, different. My son, one of our boys, just joined the New Hampshire Guard. He's up in New Hampshire. Just joined the New Hampshire Guard yesterday, and
oh wow, congratulations!
So he's already gone kind of his direction, at least for now, and the other ones are in school. I don't know. I think it depends on what the company does, and what the interests of the kids are. We would absolutely 100% welcome, any participation. For now, they take photographs. The kids are in all our advertising and our posts and things like that. We stress family, and that's our friends and family in the photographs. They're not stock photos of somebody else's, incredibly
people do that. People do
good-looking family, but no, that is our actual family. So that's probably for now at least, the extent of the kids' involvement, other than just being supportive and taking some photographs and things now and again.
So what is next? So you kind of foreshadowed a little bit. What's next is more flavors, but you're going to focus on being an online-only store with a premium product that's made, sourced, designed, and created right here in the United States, which to me is very important right now, and should be going forward. I think it's just exciting because, there's so many people who start businesses and, it doesn't work out. And there's so many veterans who try new things like yourself and, experience the frustrations of trying to grow and get a product out there. It's just nice to see somebody who has themselves kind of focused on what their mission is.
Yeah. With regard to what's next, like I said, we've not been launched very long, only about 10 or so months at this point. And we are just really focused on trying to get these two products that we have launched. I call it out of diapers. We want to get it out of diapers so that it's walking on its own, right? And doesn't need funding from mom and dad to make it continue to go. Also, at the same time, we understand that it's a brand new business and that it's going to need some help from mom and dad financially if we want it to survive. But from a business perspective, the big goal is just to get it out of diapers, get it moving on its own. And we hope the milestone that I had put in the ground is I would like by the end of the year, I would like to have it so that it's self-sustaining by the end of 2020. 2021 is where we want to look at bringing on 2 more products and just continue to grow the exposure, to grow obviously sales. That's got to happen as a function of becoming self-sustaining.
Speaking of sales, for me, again, folks, I am not a herbivore. I am not a vegan. I'm not a vegetarian. There's some meals I eat where vegetables just don't cross my lips. I live competitively, so that's why, and it just is what it is. And I'd gotten out of eating salads, to tell you the truth. And then, so I have a little video I'm going to show probably, for spin up for next Thursday, right? And I taste test the balsamic. I'm going to do taste test the marinated pork chops. But to your point, I at first I poured a whole lot on my salad, and then I'm like, okay, it was like too much.
Right.
And then I've kind of gotten with the other bottle, I don't need a lot.
Right. Yep.
And by not using a lot, folks, it's just my take, John, is when I tasted it, is if I didn't use too much, I'm not a less is more kind of a guy, but if you don't put as much on there, the flavor actually comes out better.
I would agree with that.
Okay.
One, it doesn't overpower whatever food you're putting it on, right? But it's not designed
with salad dressings, though. I mean, the thing is most salad dressings I eat, I have to pour a lot of it on to get the flavor.
Yeah, so here's why. Look at what the first ingredient is on those salad dressings. A lot of times it's going to be water. And so back to our conversation about the commoditization of a lot of our foods that are on the shelf. It's going to be that first ingredient is going to in most products. It's going to be water. It's going to be some sort of an oil blend, and then water very shortly after that. And in order to make it continue to look somewhat appetizing, they've then got to put xanthan gum in it so that it'll blend up and look like something you would want to put in your mouth, right? And I'm not trying to put anybody else's product down. I mean, there's some people that love, I don't know, name the kind of salad dressing you pick off the shelf. Some people love that stuff. That's great. Awesome. But if you want a great homemade salad dressing that's really going to taste like nothing you ever had unless your grandmother was in the kitchen making her own salad dressing, our product's about the only one out there. And so a lot of people have that experience where they're now pouring a pure product on, where they used to be pouring on a product that was full of water and it was full of a lot of things that extended the product, and they needed to use more. Not so much with us.
No. So once I got my amounts right, salad became actually something I'd want to eat again. So I'm very excited to see how the pork chops turn out. I'm going to do a little video on that and do it. But for me, just personally, if I'd never heard your company before and tried this, I'm like, I'd rather go online and order this and have this in my kitchen for myself and my family and my guests than get because I went to the grocery store, and I'll be straight with you, I get the Hidden Valley blue cheese dressing, for example.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, there's all this stuff in there that I can't even pronounce.
Yeah.
What am I actually doing here? And a lot of it was like food dye and coloring. I'm like, and the problem is, John, once you've had this,
there's no going back, is there?
That's the thing. I'm like, oh my God, I can't go back now. I can't go back. I mean, the Pandora's box is open. The curtain from the wizard is pulled back.
Right.
The light has dawned on Marblehead, right? So I am like totally behind this, and so I'm what I'm trying to say is, as you grow, I would definitely like to have you come back on and quote launch new things virtually, and we're not that far away. Looking at the map, would love to possibly meet in person and do this, but these are the kind of stories I really love to tell, and I just really, folks, I'll have the link. It's sempersavage.com or net.
.com.
sempersavage.com.
Yeah.
I'll have the website in the link, but go there and get this stuff. And I love it. I can't go back. I can't go back.
Well, you need to sign up for our affiliate program, Travis.
Yeah, there is an affiliate program on there. And as we close down, now, how does that work? I didn't really look into that a whole lot.
Yeah, so I mean, it's pretty simple. Just someone like yourself who has some sort of a following and would like to make make a pitch for the product. Say, hey, go to my page. Go to my landing page on sempersavage.com, and it'll be something like put in the code Travis, and you'll get or Oscar Mike or whatever you decide, and get a discount. I mean, it's that simple, and you're going to get a $1 or $2 discount, and then you get a little bit back in your pocket, and it's kind of a win-win-win. Customers, you and us.
I'll have to play around with this. I think I could do a cool voiceover for you, John, on this.
Oh yeah,
I really did.
I'd love to see. I'd love to see what you came up with.
We're just playing around, in a world of fake, in a world of unauthentic.
You're the man.
Don't get dressing. Get savage.
Yeah.
Semper Savage.
Yeah.
I'll play around with it. I've been playing around with it. I'm like, this would be a fun project to do.
Yeah, love it.
But it's just been great networking with you on the Veterans Business Group on Facebook. Other veterans who are trying to do their own thing and get it going and learning about the product. I really appreciate getting to, test your product. And I'm not getting paid, folks. I'm not getting any kind of discount. I'm not a greens or vegetable eater very often, but now that I have this, all I can tell you is I can't go back. I can't go back.
We captured you. We snagged you.
Absolutely. Maybe that was the intent. It was effective. And I'd like to see that because, you're an American trying to make a progress and success in this day and age. Well, John, it has been great having you. The time just flies by when you're having fun. I had a blast.
Likewise. It's been a blast, dude.
So I will post the videos of me eating the balsamic and the pork chops. It's going to be epic, and I look forward to 2021, brother.
I am too, man. We're really looking forward to growing, and we really appreciate the opportunity for me to come on the show and just having an opportunity for folks like you to take a look at the product and allow us an opportunity to get the word out.
So, folks, this is number 202 shutting down. I'm with Marine Corps. I'm going to add that out. Well, folks, this is shutting down number 202. I'm with Marine Corps Lieutenant Colonel retired John Currie. We're going to say, out of respect to his wife, co-owner, co-founder of Semper Savage salad dressing. I love it. I won't go back. You'll love it too. We are mission in flight. John, thank you for coming on Oscar Mike Radio.
Thank you for having me, Travis. Loved it.
Thank you. Now just stand by 1 second. I'm going to try something real quick.
Yeah.
Oh.